People have been so busy moaning about Chancellor Jeremy Hunt's repeated tax raids that we'd forgotten what the Labour Party might do if it wins power. Now we know, and it's not pretty. Labour was always known as the high-tax party, but the Conservatives have been turning the screw too. Our tax burden is now at a 70-year high. Hunt has frozen income tax and inheritance tax thresholds until 2028, and will slash capital gains tax and dividends tax thresholds from next month. On Wednesday, Hunt finally saw sense and scrapped the complex and punitive pensions lifetime allowance, which slapped a brutal 55% tax charge on anybody who had the temerity to save too much in a pension. Hunt did this to encourage older workers to go back to their jobs, especially NHS doctors who had quit to avoid seeing their pension savings savaged. I celebrated his decision on Wednesday, because the lifetime allowance causes a lot more trouble than it's worth, robbing both savers and the country. Stupidly, I tempted fate by writing, after Hunt's spring budget today, I shouldn't need to mention it ever again, except as an example of what a bad tax looks like. Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves announced she would reinstate this stupid tax if Labour wins the next election. Last year, Labour was calling for the lifetime allowance to be terminated. Now that Hunt has pulled the trigger, they suddenly want it back. Reeves portrayed it as a $1 billion tax break for the rich, saying it was the wrong priority, at the wrong time, for the wrong people. Her words are worrying in all sorts of ways. I fully accept the case for taxation. The state needs money to fund the NHS, schools, the military, roads, and all the rest of it. I also accept that the better off should pay more. But if Rachel Reeves is willing to reinstate a tax as bad as the pension's lifetime allowance to score a few party political points, then I dread to think what else she'll do under pressure from party activists. If Reeves thinks the rich are getting too many pension tax breaks, then she should cut the pension annual allowance or reduce tax relief on contributions from higher earners. That may be harsh, but at least it's rational. The lifetime allowance is a rotten tax and deserves to bend. The problem isn't that it targets the rich, but that it does so in such a clumsy way that makes pension planning almost impossible. As pensions expert Andrew Tully at Canada Life says, you simply can't play political ping-pong with the pension system, as people need to plan for the long term, and that demands confidence in the system. That confidence has been destroyed, and not just by Reeves. Politicians have been playing politics with our pensions for decades. It began in 1997, when Chancellor Gordon Brown launched his notorious pension stealth tax raid that has sucked more than $200 billion out of the nation's workplace scheme so far. Millions of British workers enjoyed a top-notch final salary pension schemes before Brown made his money grab. Almost no company offers them today. Conservative chancellors have been just as bad, repeatedly fiddling with the pension's lifetime and annual allowances, confusing and dithering savers. Pensions should offer a solid pot of money for our final years, but politicians of all stripes treat them either as a juicy cash cow, either that or a parlor game. Typically, we get a new pensions minister every 9 months. Now we know that if Labour does win power, the nightmare will intensify. Its bash the rich approach will apply across the tax system, with inheritances right on the front line. Pensions can be passed on free of IHD today. Labour could attack that anomaly. Reeves could justify any change on wealth distribution grounds. It's time to go all out with your financial planning today. Use your pensions, inheritance tax, CGD and ISA tax breaks to the max while you still can. Hunt is after your money today. Tomorrow it may be Labour's turn. Plan now to make sure you're ready for it.